Alright, well, before I became self-employed and I worked in a language centre, one of the things teachers regularly asked me was how to make reading more interactive. Because in many language centres, student complaints can be for many reasons. But one of the most common complaints is that they're being asked to do too much reading in class when they could easily just do it at home. They want more interaction. And it's not difficult really to make reading more interactive if you introduce some peripheral activities. So here's a relatively simple way of turning a text into a whole discussion with an aim, which really makes students more motivated. So let's say you've got 12 students. I don't know how many you do have, but if you've got 12 students, then you'll divide the group into 4 groups of 3. From each 3, nominate 1 student to leave the room. How long for depends on the text you've got. The text could be in the course book you work with, it could be an additional text. Don't make it too long, and certainly don't make it too short, like 1 paragraph, otherwise it just won't work, or it'll work just too well, and it'll be a waste of time. So the students leave the room, they don't need to do anything, you can tell them what's happening if you like. But while they're out, the students who remain in their pairs read the text and try to remember as much as they can. If they want to ask you, the teacher, about any vocabulary, they can. Then, after the time is up, and again you will decide how long you want to give students to do this, invite the other students back in and have them sit with their original pairs. They're now back in of 3, sorry to state the obvious, and take the texts from the students, or at least require them to close the books. They then discuss the text with the student who didn't read it, and the student who didn't read it tries to get as much information as they can. Then, when the time's up, again you'll decide how much time you want to give them for this stage, put the 4 students at the front and ask them some questions about the text, but don't let the others answer because they have an advantage. Alright? And then you can proceed to the standard comprehension, true or false, whatever questions that are in the course book itself, if you're using a text from a course book. If you're using this to introduce some kind of a debate or role plays or a topic, then you'll go ahead with whatever you want to do next. But I find this is a pretty good way of getting students to interact around just a simple, what would otherwise be a simple reading activity. So give it a go. I don't have a name for it, but I've found it works very well over a long time.